Everyone, I'm going to give a resort and room review for Pop Century right now, and this is apparently going to be a fairly unpopular view because everybody I've heard from and everything I read just goes on and on and on about how great Pop Century is. Well, I'm here to tell you I don't think it is. I don't love it. I mean, I guess I can see why people think what they think, but I actually we're here at Pop Century right now. I'm gonna close this. And I actually was laying here this morning, awake, before I got out of bed, thinking, I wonder if I have enough money to switch to a different resort. Because, I mean, you kids like it, okay, yeah? Yeah, they like it, but I'm gonna tell you the reasons why, and I'd really love to hear from people who agree, or who maybe haven't thought of these things and maybe are saying to themselves, oh, yeah, you kind of have a point, okay? So, first of all, the resort itself. Okay. Before we get here yesterday, I had never even been to a value resort, so I really had no idea what to expect. I've always been afraid that they're gonna look a little bit cheap and kitschy. Now, I wouldn't say that they look cheap. The Disney standard is there. The landscaping, the pathways, everything is still very, very, very nice. The grass and the palm trees and the signs and everything. And it's cool looking. It's fun. It's bright and colorful and fun. However, it does, if you kind of take that stuff away, they are still just big block buildings. And with the doors on the outside, and kind of inside of me, they remind me a little bit of like motels.
Same.
Yeah, right?
When I walked up to one, when we were walking to find a room, I was just like, wait, are these motels?
Yeah, it reminds me of motels that my dad used to make us stay at when we traveled across the country in the car when I was a kid, because my dad was too cheap to stay at nice places. So it kind of reminds me of that. And I realize the moderates also have exterior hallways and exterior doors, but somehow they don't feel like that. They feel more resorty, like you're in like cottages or something. Like at a beach resort or something. I don't know. They just don't feel the same way to me. And maybe it's because they're lower buildings. I don't know. But anyway, it does feel kind of, and Ben thinks that too, it does feel kind of like it's the cheapest option. It feels that way. So I don't really like that. And then the other thing is, the lobby, the main building is nice. It's very nicely done, but I wasn't terribly impressed with the food court. I mentioned this in another video. I liked the food court at Port Orleans Riverside way better. I just didn't think it was anything great to write home about. Okay, and then the room. Okay, now keep in mind, Pop Century's resort rooms have all been renovated. And a couple of the things I'm going to talk about, unfortunately, are resort-wide, which means Disney has now done this to all of their resorts. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I am going to predict that some of these trends that we're seeing that I don't like are going to go the other way and get reversed in 10, 15, maybe 20 years, but I think that they're going to find that some of these things were mistakes, okay? I know they're trendy, and I know they're cool, but I don't like them, and I think that probably they're going to find out that they aren't going to be happy with them either. All right, the things I don't... Okay, first let me tell you the things I do like about this room, because there are a few. I like the Pluto and the Mickey pop art up on the walls above the beds. That's cool. The mattresses are very comfortable. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
And the pillows are wonderful. The pillows are great. I'm assuming they're new, and they're really nice pillows. Okay? I do like the sink in the bathroom. The sink in the bathroom I really like. I like that sink a lot. It's at a perfect height. Yeah, the sink we stayed at the night before last at the Fairfield Inn and Suites in Minneapolis was too high. And it was weird, and we didn't like it at all. But this one is really nice. It's at a perfect level, and I like how it comes out toward you so much. And I like the walk-in shower. Now, my kids don't necessarily like, they're kind of sad there's no tub. I mean, they both took showers last night, and you guys were fine, right?
Yeah.
The shower heads in there, there's 2 shower heads, a rainfall shower head and another one that you can like take off and spray, is really nice. The glass doors are really nice. I like the walk-in shower a lot. I mean, they'd like to have a tub. We did talk to a woman in the bus line last night at Magic Kingdom who was standing in front of us with her little girl. It was her little girl's birthday. And they went to the Snow White and the Dwarfs character meal that's in Wilderness Lodge now. Oh, shoot, what's it called? I can't think of it. It's new. She said it was the best character meal she'd ever had. Little aside for you there. With the Evil Queen and the dwarves. It used to be Artist Point, and now it's a character meal. I can't think of it. We couldn't get a reservation. I actually watched a video about it that Tim Tracker did and said, "Oh, I'd love to go there. That actually looks really cool," but I couldn't get in. Anyway, I talked to this lady in the line last night, and she is staying here too, obviously, because they were in our bus line to come here. And she said they have a tub, but they had to request it. So with these renovations that Disney is doing where they're putting all these stand-up showers in the room, apparently they are still keeping tubs in some of the rooms, but you're going to have to ask for them. So I see that as kind of a negative. I mean, I like the walk-in shower because I don't take baths ever. But, and I like not having to step over the edge of the tub, you know? But I can see a lot of people that come to Disney have little kids, and they're going to want tubs. And I'm just afraid that if they don't know that they have to request a tub, they're going to get stuck in a room with a shower and not be able to bathe their kids. And also, I really wonder about like capacity wise, if they're going to end up not having enough rooms with tubs to accommodate all the people that want them. You know what I mean? If they keep putting these showers in the rooms. So that's one thing. That's about it that I like. Okay, there is a decent amount of storage, although I don't really care for how they did it. It's not the way I would have done it. Did you get that on okay? Okay. Magic bands. Would you? I'll get mine in a minute. Okay, here's what I don't like. It feels like a hospital room. It is totally white and cold, and I mean that figuratively and literally. Cold and sterile. It just feels very institutional, I guess is the way I would put it. What, you guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I mean, there's the little pop of color over the beds, and there's an orange stripe.
It's like industrial.
Yeah, it's like industrial. There's an orange stripe on the one edge of the bathroom door. There's this pop of color on the curtain behind me, and there is, yeah, and there is a little green hooks on the hook on the wall where we hung our jackets, and that's literally it.
Oh, there's color in the bathroom.
Well, light blue, yeah, but even that looks kind of institutional. Otherwise, everything is white, or this wood, you know, and it just isn't. It's not. And this is something that they're doing now in all of the resorts. Well, and hotels, hotels everywhere have done this. They've taken away comforters, and they've made all the bedding just white sheets, basically. And I know that they've done this because of cleanliness and because of ease for laundry. But there's 2 problems with this. I think that looks stupid. Okay, I don't think beds look nice when they're just white sheets. Yeah. That's not how I sleep in my bed at home. I have a nice comforter in my bed at home that's pretty. Yeah. And, you know, and the second problem with it, these covers, how were yours, buddy? Were you thin and they thin and freezing?
I had to squeeze together to get warm.
We were freezing. We were absolutely freezing. The mattresses and the pillows are nice. The covers are awful. They were too thin, and we were freezing.
I got more warmth curled up against the pillow than I did just under the covers.
Did you hear that? She got more warmth from the pillow than she did from the covers. I was so cold all night long. Now, I'm actually going to turn this back down now, guys, now that you're dressed. But when I got up this morning before the kids, I came over here, and the first thing I did was turn the thermostat up because we were freezing. And so when I say that the room is cold figuratively and literally, that's what I mean. It's not only looks cold, it feels cold. And I'm going to blame that on the floors. Okay? I don't know Who thinks I don't get it? I hate hard floors in a hotel room. They have no place in a hotel room. I'm sorry. They're not cleaner. They're not. As I've said in a previous video, floors will be as clean as you clean them. Hard floors, everybody's like, oh, they look so nice. Yay. I don't want to walk on it. I don't want to set my baby on it. I don't want to set my toddler on it. I don't even want to set my suitcase on it. I can see that they're not clean. I mean, they're okay, but they're not going to be that clean. I don't want to walk on it. And here's the thing. Number one is sound. You can hear us walking. That's me tapping my feet on the floor. You can hear Ben walking across the floor, okay, with his shoes. You can't hear that when there's carpet. Secondly is temperature. It just makes the room feel cold. And then your feet are going to be cold when you're walking on it if you're walking in bare feet. Thirdly is it's just not soft and warm. And if you have little kids, like a lot of people at Disney are going to have little kids, and you want to set your kid on the floor, you can't.
You have to have like 3 towels to
right.
make it like an actual carpet.
I mean, we were so tired. Yeah, you have to get towels and lay them on the floor. We were so tired last night, and we would have all we've got is these 2 little chairs because the table thing, and we would have liked to sat down. You can't. I don't want to sit on the hard floor. And then the other thing with the hard floor is I have issues with my feet. I have neuromas in my feet, and I can't walk around without something on my feet. Even at home, I have to wear slippers or have shoes on all the time. I can upstairs, while I'm putzing around upstairs where the bedrooms are, which are upstairs except for the bathroom is completely carpeted. I'm okay doing that because it's soft. But if I'm walking around on hard floors on my feet, like this morning, I walked from the bed over to here to make this video, and it hurt. And I said to Megan, nope, I can't stand it. And I had to go get my shoes and put my shoes on right now because it hurts my feet to walk on hardness. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who's like that, where it's painful to me, to my feet, who have issues with your feet, to walk on hard floors. And I just cringe. And I've never been that way with carpet. I know people freak out about carpet, but I'm sorry, you can shampoo carpets. Vacuuming is so much easier than sweeping and mopping. I feel like they're making these rooms more difficult for mousekeeping to maintain. And that's where I think they're going to regret it. 2 things about that. I mean, one is the floors. This is not easier than vacuuming. And secondly, because now they've raised the beds up so you can supposedly put your luggage under there. I'm not putting my luggage under there. It's probably filthy. And plus, I need access to my luggage. I'm not going to pull it out from under the bed every time and get stuff out of it. And there's not enough storage for us to all unpack. There's not. Maybe if one person was in here, you could. And then this fold-down bed. I feel like that's an additional thing that they're putting on mousekeeping. Now they've got to make that bed up in such a way that they can completely fold it up and tuck it away. I mean, I haven't seen yet. Are they going to put this bed away today? Are we going to come back here tonight and the table's going to be out? Or are they going to leave the bed down because they see we're using it? I don't know. We'll have to see what they do. But I feel like that they're putting additional responsibilities and difficulties on mousekeeping that are going to make it too hard. And I feel like eventually mousekeeping is going to complain and they're going to say, "Ooh, whoops, that was a mistake to do that." Back to my thing about laying awake this morning, wishing that we could move to a different resort. Unfortunately, I actually looked this morning to see what else was available to see if we could switch. And unfortunately, everything is full except for Art of Animation, Animal Kingdom Lodge, both of which are way too expensive, French Quarter, Port Orleans French Quarter. I really want to try Port Orleans French Quarter, so I actually was tempted. But unfortunately, it's just enough higher that would really take a chunk out of our food budget, and we'd be really can we afford to eat now the rest of the trip? So I'm not going to switch. We're going to stay here. We'll be fine. But
it's just for sleeping.
Yeah, it's just for sleeping. But I mean, I don't love it. A couple of other things I want to say.
It's literally like a bedroom with 2 beds.
Yeah, I know. A couple other things I want to say. there's like 3 more things I want to say. One is, going back to the changes that Disney has made, and also Disney has made, in addition to putting the hard floors everywhere. When I was thinking about switching this morning, and then I looked, the other problem is they've put the dang hard floors everywhere. If there's any rooms left on property that still have carpet, it's non-renovated rooms that are due to be refurbished, and they're probably not in great shape. So, but they have taken the carpet out of every single room on property, and I do not like that. When they first started doing that, and this is probably 2 years ago, I wrote to Disney and said how unhappy I was that they were going with this trend of putting in hard floors everywhere. And I got a response from the president of like resorts or whatever, thanking me for my letter and blah, 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 and telling me the whole standard, well, according to Walt, Disneyland will never be finished, and we're always making changes, and we appreciate your input, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, buzz off. They're not going to change anything about it. They were already on this mission that they're going to put hard floors everywhere, and I just think they're going to regret it. I don't think this is a positive trend, for all the reasons that I said. The other thing that Disney is doing that I don't like, and I have heard other people say that they don't like this either, is the de-Disneyfying of the rooms, or taking the theming away. I mean, we've got Pluto, and there's 3 Mickeys right there. That's it. And it's not just the Disney stuff, but it's the theming. And the new hotels that they're building, you can see this too. Coronado Springs' new tower, the Grand Destino Tower, and the new Riviera Resort. When I've seen the pictures of that, I have absolutely no desire to stay there whatsoever, even if I could afford it. It's so blah. There's nothing interesting or cool about it. And I talked about this in another video. If I can remember which one it is, I'll link it up above. But they're either going one way or the other. They're either making them all very sterile like this, where they're all just generic, or they're totally theming them so extremely, like the new Star Wars hotel that they're building, but they're making those so expensive that the percentage of guests that's going to be able to stay there is extremely small. So and what I'm talking about is they used to always theme their resorts so cool. Now granted, the outside of the resort is still themed fun, but I'm talking about like the rooms and stuff. And I'm talking about like Coronado Springs being, themed to the desert and Southwest and stuff. And Caribbean Beach being themed like it's a beach resort. And Port Orleans being, themed like it's the Old South. And the deluxes like Animal Kingdom Lodge and Yacht Club and Boardwalk. All that theming. It's like they're getting rid of that in the new stuff that they build, and they're kind of taking it away in the rooms. So I don't like that. And then I wanted to talk about 3 other things. One is a hotels everywhere trend I really don't like. Why are you getting rid of the clocks? There's no clock in here.
Yeah, I've been trying to.
There's no clock in here.
And I have to ask you because
Okay.
you are the only one.
I have literally taken to keeping I forgot last night. I forgot to put my watch. I have to leave my watch next to the bed. So in the middle of the night when I wake up and I wonder what time it is, I have to look at my watch because there's no clock in the room.
You could have put a clock like
Right.
there.
Why can't you keep a clock? No. Everyone doesn't keep their phone by their bed. And hotels, if you are taking the clocks out of the room because you're assuming that everybody is putting their phone by their bed, you're wrong. Because we're not. I'm not. And I'm sure there's lots of other people who aren't either. You need to have a clock in the room. I mean, yeah, we could still get a wake-up call. We got a wake-up call this morning from Pooh, but that didn't change the fact that we have no ability in the room to see what time it is or to set an alarm. Some people still like to set an alarm on an alarm clock. At home, we still have alarm clocks. We don't have our phones in our bedrooms. So, and honestly, I don't even know how to set the alarm on my phone because I'm never going to use it.
Yeah, me neither. Like the app, I tried setting it.
Yeah, and I can't figure it out. So I just want a regular alarm clock, please. Please, hotels, put clocks back in the rooms. Even if you put a wall clock, just so we can see what time it is. I mean, yesterday when we came back, my phone was dead. So I couldn't look at the phone to tell the time anyway.
Megan had to because.
Yeah, Megan had to because she still had charge on her phone. I was like, what time is it? Because I have no idea. Well, I had my watch, but still. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, that's a hotels everywhere thing that I don't like. And then going back here to Pop Century, another reason I don't like this room And Morgan, I asked you about this and you told me you didn't have any issues, and maybe you didn't, but apparently you're not as light a sleeper as the rest of us are. Noise. Was that from?
That was me.
That was you. Okay. I can hear everything
Yeah.
from next door.
Next door, above,
Next door.
outside.
There is nobody above us, but it sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We can
It
hear
sounds like it's from down below.
Yeah, it might be down below. It might be that side. We can't tell, but we can hear everything. I heard their toilet seat this morning. Okay? We hear people walking by. We hear people. Last night, the people next to us, it sounded like above, but it must have been next to us because we're on the top floor. They got back like an hour later. They must have stayed till park closed at Magic Kingdom, and they got back an hour later, and we heard everything they did. We were already in bed. I heard them moving the furniture, and I heard them putting the bed down, and I heard them going in and out of the bathroom, and we can hear everything. This morning, we thought somebody knocked on our door, but I think it was actually somebody putting the bed back up. We can hear everything. So, sound, it's not good. And then this thing. Would you help me when I'm done making this video? I want to unplug it.
Yeah, sure.
This mini, oh wait, we probably can't because there's a freezer in there.
Yeah.
Shoot. This fridge woke me up 20 times. However often that thing kicks on, it goes, mee! And then it kind of settles into its fridge noise. It's awful. It woke me up so many times because of, I will say the climate control in here, it's very subtle, and climate control is not an issue.
Yeah.
They must have nice modern climate
In the
control.
bathroom, when it kicks
The
on,
vent, yeah. The vent in the bathroom, what were you going to say?
it's just like,
Yeah.
and it's so loud.
When you turn on, you can't separately turn off the vent. When you turn on the vent in the bathroom, the light in the bathroom, the vent goes on, even if you're not using the shower, just for the toilet. Just to turn the light on in the room with the shower and the toilet. Once you turn the light on, now it's off right now, but it stays on, the vent stays on for a long time. You shut the light off and the vent still stays on. So you've got that noise too. And so noise is a problem. And then there's the dang walking on the hard floor. Because not only can I hear us walking around.
I bet people below us can probably hear
Yeah,
us
people
walking
below
around.
us can probably hear us walking on this hard floor. So there are issues galore. I'm sorry. There's issues galore. And then I want to say one other thing. I did say in a video last night in my outro from our day one vlog that the dedicated bus is nice, but I don't.
When you're standing, it's so.
When you're standing, it's awful.
Like,
There's
I
still.
almost fell on a little.
Yeah. I don't think that it's enough of a benefit to make me choose Pop Century Art of Animation just because they have a dedicated bus. Because I'm sorry. The flaws with the bus system and the crowding on the buses, that's like that no matter where you stay. And not having a dedicated, I didn't think that having to, at the moderates where you go around, you have multiple stops, I don't think that's a big deal. It's not any worse than the dedicated bus and still having to stand on the bus at the end of the night. You're still having to stand on a crowded bus at the end of the night. I mean, and actually, I kind of like having the multiple stops at the moderate resorts because where you get off is closer to your room. When you get off here, we're the farthest away from the main building that you can be. Well, we are and we're not. Because if you take the paths, you are. But we figured out we can cut across the parking lot here and it's shorter. But if you don't know that, it's a long walk from that one bus stop back to your room at the far reaches of the resort. So I don't feel that that is a benefit enough to stay at these values that have the independent buses. I don't think that doesn't make it worth it. And I'm really going to have to wrestle with whether I think the cost savings is worth it, because it's fine. I mean, we'll stay here, but I wouldn't choose this again. I mean, I just wouldn't. And one more thing. Gosh, it's small. It's claustrophobic in here. It's like staying in a white jail cell. The window is small. It's really small. And I feel like I'm gonna whack my leg on this pull down bed corner because it's leaving literally 2 feet of space between that and the dresser and stuff, and it's really small. I feel like our cruise ship staterooms feel more spacious than
I
this.
know.
They do.
That's what I was thinking of.
Cruise ship staterooms feel more spacious than this room. So
Like that last one on the Mariners.
yeah, was way more spacious than
Yeah,
this.
it was like times 2 of it.
Yeah, it's really tight.
I mean, it was a small bathroom.
If you're just a single person or you're a couple and you can keep that fold down bed up and you don't have much stuff, then these rooms are probably fine for you. But for families, I would not recommend this unless you're getting 2-3 rooms, because it's just too tight. There's not enough space to walk around. There's not enough space to put your stuff. There's just not. So they're really small. I mean, if you look, you can find like the square footage of different the value resorts versus the moderates versus the deluxes, because they are progressively bigger, and then obviously suites are even bigger than that. But I didn't know if it would feel like much of a difference, but it does. This is small. The moderates are significantly bigger than this, and the deluxes are way bigger. So if space is important to you, don't stay in a value, because they're really tight. Okay, there's my opinion. I'm sorry if it's unpopular. Sorry if I sounded judgy, but I speak my truth. And these are the things, and now that I'm saying them, Ben's like, oh yeah, you're right, Mom. Oh yeah. And I think if you think about it, some of these things you might be like, oh yeah, that's a good point too, you know? I think everybody's just like, ooh, look, they renovated it, isn't it nifty? And then, but when you actually break it down and think about what it really is, it's not that great. So, sorry, Pop Century. We tried you, but I don't think we're going to be back. We're going to probably go back to moderates. If that means we can't stay as long, or that means we can't come as often, that's a bummer. But I want the nicer room, sorry. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. Safe travels.
We can make a wildfire getaway.